Hey, Chris Crawford here from Kick-Ass Media. If you're having a red carpet movie premiere or some other kind of red carpet event, the backdrop is a big deal. And this has to go down perfect. We get it. You've got talent possibly on site. Maybe you've got media photographers. There's probably going to be a bit of a crowd around, some guests. You've got logistics at the location, whether you're inside or outside. This must show up, done right, and look good. It's crucial. We get it. So I'm here to share a little video with you of the top things to look for so that you make sure that you get the right backdrop at the right time and everything goes off without a hitch. So there's three key areas to consider. Number one is obviously the backdrop itself with the printing, the hardware type, the key details of buying the right backdrop. The second one is choosing the right supplier. So making sure you've got a supplier that you can trust, that you know what to ask, you know the conversation to have. And the third one is how can it help you achieve your goals short-term and long-term. So first, let's talk about the backdrop itself. So there's a few different material types. We really recommend that you go with a fabric. There are matte vinyls out there, but they just do not look as good in photos. They really, they come off a little cheap looking. They are made of plastic. If you fold them and they crease, it'll show up. And once you use fabric, you're gonna love it because the finish is just like this. There's no glare, there's nothing like that. It really represents a brand. It's the best look. You can get short-term or long-term fabric depending if it's something you want to reuse or if you only want to use it for the one event, the one day, the one time, you can do that too. It's dry cleanable, the long-term one, and it can be folded up nice and small. It expands out with wrinkle-free. It looks great. It's just the superior product. The other thing is the hardware itself. Now, unfortunately, there is some hardware out there that requires tools, that screws together, that's complicated to set up on site. We really recommend to make sure you avoid that kind of hardware and you're careful of that. We used to sell those kinds of tube frames, but we stopped because just people were not happy with them. If it's you or your team or anybody else that's going to be setting up, you want something that they don't have to think about. They don't have to think about tools. You do not want somebody last minute on site trying to figure out how to put this thing together. So we only sell the expandable backdrop, which is the locking click frame. It's literally just expands out like an accordion. You lock the clips, that's it. People can set this up if they've never done it, they don't need instructions, they don't need anything like that, they'll just pop it into place. So we definitely recommend that. You can also put sandbags in this one and they're hidden inside the frame so you can't see them at all. The frame is completely hidden, as you can see, behind the print, and it doesn't show up at all. It's the most professional, it's the best look, it's the one you're gonna be the happiest with. Now for sizing, there's all different sizes. 8 foot high, 10 foot high, 12 foot high. The most common that we find, depending on your venue, especially for outdoor, is 10 foot high. 8 foot it's between 8 and 10. They're both really common. 10 foot for outdoor, 8 foot sometimes for indoor. You really wanna be careful of the ceiling heights. And then the widths all vary. So we can go as small as 5 foot wide. We can go up to 50 or even 100 foot long if we had to in one long seamless wall. So that's all in your venue specifications. You really have to talk to somebody to nail that down right. Now the second thing is choosing the right supplier. Now what oftentimes happens that a lot of people don't know is some suppliers are sending their printing overseas to be printed, and it comes back and the print quality or the colors aren't as good, or it doesn't arrive on time. And the tricky part is that some suppliers don't guarantee it, and they even have it in their fine print on their websites that they don't guarantee that it's gonna arrive on time or look right, and that it's your own problem. So we urge you to make sure to talk to your supplier about these kinds of questions. Number one, you want it printed in North America. Number two, you wanna know what the guarantees are if it doesn't arrive on time or if it arrives wrong. So at Kick-Ass Media, we actually have a no questions asked, love it guarantee. We guarantee that the print will arrive on time and look perfect, and if it doesn't, either we'll refund, we'll reprint, we'll do whatever it takes in order to make sure that it's taken care of. And that we set a high bar like that because we know this is a huge deal for you and you can't risk it being done wrong. So because of that, we have high standards of what goes out the door, and we don't let anything go out that we don't think will not work out for your event. So make sure you're having that conversation with your supplier. What are they guaranteeing? And what are they promising that they'll do for you? The other thing is, what are they warranting long term? Because you can, and moving into the third point, which is how to get your ROI and achieve your goals short and long term. So one of the key things is you could reuse this for future movies. Now, if you're dealing with different clients or it's just the one brand that you work in, either way, you can reuse the backdrop and just change the print, because the print is only on here with Velcro. So you can remove it, put a new one on, which now you're getting a long-term ROI out of. The other thing is making sure that we've got the design that's obviously in line with your brand and what you're trying to represent with the movie, with the talent or the awards or whatever it may be. So we want to make sure that those things are in line, and we'll have that conversation with the team about finding the best product, making sure if you need design support, or we can work with your design, we can check, we can file check, we can do all that kind of stuff to make sure that we're going to nail this and your day is going to be awesome. It's going to look great. Your client or your boss or whatever is going to love it, and you're going to feel like you made a good choice. I hope those key points, number one is making sure you get the right backdrop for the event. Number two is choosing the right supplier and really making sure you ask those questions that guarantee success. And number three is thinking about how to achieve your goals and achieve your ROI of the backdrop. Chris Crawford here for Kick-Ass Media, and hope that helps. Talk to you soon.